At Merida, we're one of the very first brands to innovate with pedal assist e-bikes. While we're experts at designing and manufacturing bicycles, when it comes to the drive units that powers them, we've always chosen partners that share our focus on performance and quality, which is why we've worked with Shimano since their very first E8000 drive unit up to this, the very latest EP801 system. In that time, there have been a whole load of changes to the way e-bikes look and perform. The most obvious is that on most of our bikes, we've moved from externally mounted batteries to much sleeker looking internally mounted units, now usually with a much higher capacity for even more riding time. However, if you think in that time that this little thing down here hasn't changed, then you'd be very wrong. So this is the new EP801 drive unit. At a glance, it doesn't look all that different to the very first E8000 unit that started off an e-bike revolution, but there are a whole host of performance upgrades tacked away inside there that make it a big step forward from those early units. The first is that both this latest EP801 and the EP8 that came before it are actually much smaller in size than the original E8000 motor. The lower size means more ground clearance, so it's less likely to get caught on trail obstacles. And it also means less weight, so it's a win-win. At just 2.7 kilos for the drive unit, EP801 is one of the lightest full support options out there too. Now, the small overall size and cyclist-led design of the EP801 is another reason why we use Shimano units, especially on our performance e-mountain bikes. A bigger and bulkier drive unit would force us to compromise the design of the bike to fit it in. But this isn't an issue with EP801. For a start, the compact size and well thought out layout allows us to create a chainstay that's as short as we want it, so we can deliver the same fun and intuitive handling as on our purely human powered bikes. Secondly, on full suspension bikes, it places fewer restrictions on where we can place the suspension pivots, so that we don't have to compromise the bump eating performance of the bike either. Another key feature of EP801 is that the power is delivered in a natural feeling way. Shimano have been doing the whole cycling thing for a while now, that's over 100 years, so they understand bike riders, which is why the drive unit delivers a bike-like experience. Now, rather than just having an on-off level of support that feels like flicking a light switch, the unit senses what you're doing and feeds in the power accordingly. That means it's much easier to control on tricky technical terrain or when there's low traction, giving you lots of support when you need it, but not as much when you don't. Talking of support, while EP801 delivers the same 85 Nm of torque being the twisting force it delivers, a big upgrade over the previous EP8 is that this actually delivers more peak power than ever before. The maximum kick is now 600 watts up from the 500 watts previously on offer, and the drive unit also delivers this across a much wider range of cadences than before, so it feels much more muscular when you're riding it. One thing that you can't see is that EP801 has much improved connectivity. That means that it's actually compatible with their electronic Di2 shifting, plus features like auto shift and free shift that will shift for you. It also means that EP801 can communicate with far more third-party devices, such as GPSs and so on. To get the very most from your EP801 equipped bike, there are a few tips and tricks that you'll need to know. The first is to set your support how you want it. Now, there are 3 basic modes. Eco is for extending the range as much as possible, Boost gives you absolute maximum power, and Trail is the do anything mode that senses how hard you're trying and gives you assistance accordingly. Again, pedal gently and it'll give a little bit of support, pedal hard and it'll give you a lot of support. It's great for most riding situations, but what you might not know is that EP801 now offers 5 different steps of different support in the Trail mode simply by switching to Profile 2 on the head unit from Profile 1. That means you can fine-tune the support level in Trail to what you're doing. So if you're doing a flat-out lunchtime blast with mates, turn it up into the highest Trail setting and it'll give you loads of support for loads of fun. If you're doing a big day out, turn down the Trail level to maximise battery life so you can ride further and longer. One of the best bits is that you can also adjust all these settings and much more about the system using the Shimano eTube phone app, which gives you really fine control of all the assist settings, including the overall torque it will give out in each assistance mode, how quickly the assistance starts up, and also how powerful the assistance character is. It really does let you tweak it to your heart's content. You can even change the function of the buttons on the bike, so for example you can change this to switch the light on and off rather than changing mode. Another really important thing to remember to get the most from an EP801 equipped bike is to be mindful of what gears you're in and what cadence, that's how fast you're spinning the cranks, you're doing. Now, if you come from a road cycling background, this is a no-brainer. Spinning the cranks is how you develop good power. But if you're from a non-cycling or even a mountain bike background, you might be used to a much slower cadence. Now, EP801 is designed to work best at above 70 revolutions per minute. Again, this is because of Shimano's cycling background. If you're pedalling slower than that, the motor assumes that you don't really want any assistance, because if you did, you'd be spinning the cranks faster. Now, if you're not sure what cadence you are doing, it's easy enough to switch the display to show this. You can then just make sure that you're shifting the gears to keep the cranks turning nicely, and you'll notice a massive difference in how easily you can tackle steep or technical obstacles. And after a while, pedalling at the required cadence becomes second nature, and it's also a good habit to take back to your non-assisted bicycle too. Anyway, I hope this video has helped explain why we choose Shimano's EP801 on some of our e-bikes, some of the benefits we think it offers, and also how to make the most of it if it's fitted to your bike. Now, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.